Hello, and welcome back to my D&D Beginner's Guide. Today, I will be discussing feats. When you look at a feat list, you'll see there's many different types of feats, and I like to categorize these feats into 5 different categories. Non-combat, combat, item creation, meta magic, and extra. Non-combat, as the name states, are feats that help you, but in non-combat ways. For example, endurance or armor proficiency helps you, can help you in combat, but can also help you in other areas where you can be able to take non-lethal damage, or you can increase the type of armors you wear, which help you in combat, but it doesn't increase your combat effectiveness. That's how I classify it. In combat, like it also states, are feats that help you in combat. Power attack is one, cleave is another. Unlike non-combat, these feats specifically and pretty obviously impact your combat capabilities. Whereas if you had an armor proficiency, you're harder to hit. You may or may not realize it right away, but with power attack, you being able to do more damage, or with cleave, you being able to hit more opponents per attack round. Those things are easily noticed. As I said in the classes, fighters get bonus feats, and they can choose from combat feats, which is marked in the book. Item creation allows you to create items, but to be more specific, magical items. The other item creation is a craft and a skill, which I will get to at a later date. The things you can create is depending on your feat. It could be brew potions, enchanting weapons, enchanting armor, making scrolls, staffs, wands, magical things. The advantage to using item creation feat instead of just buying it is that you can create it. You can put your spells into it for a cheaper price. The cost is the materials, which is very depending on what you're creating, but you can also use like your spells in place of ones you can normally buy. For example, if you get a rod of Cure Light Wounds, a wand of Cure Light Wounds, it cures 1d8. You can put a magic feat into it, and so you can create a wand of Cure Light Wounds, but is more powerful. And that's a combination between item creation and meta magic, which is what I'm going to talk about now. Meta magic increases spells. You can use them for item creation, or you can use them in general use. Meta magic takes up spell slots of a higher level depending on the feat you choose. For example, Quicken spell, which allows you to cast a spell as a free action or swift action, depending on what book you're using, takes up 4 spell slots. Meaning, if you want to use it on a level 1 spell, you have to use a level 5 spell slot. Now these get tricky, considering you can stack meta magic feats on top of each other. The thing about that though is the more meta magic feats you stack, the harder it is for you to cast a spell. One thing I would recommend if you decide to use meta magic feats is pick out one spell that you know you would use it on, and just stick with that spell and that meta magic feat. It'll make your life a lot easier when you're determining your spell slots, what is being taken up due to this meta magic feat. The last category is something I call extra, which is not in the book, unlike the other 4. These are feats that give you extra of something. For like abilities, lightning reflexes, I consider an extra feat because that gives you an extra reflex save. But if you look in the Pathfinder feats, you can get like extra mercy, extra lay on hands, extra channel energies. These are helpful because they give you more of a special ability that is useful for that class. But before you think about taking them, I would recommend you look at your character and see if it really is that effective. If you're using channel energy and let's say you choose damage to inflict, you should think, am I really going to be using this often enough that I would need these extra uses? Meaning, if you're going to be fighting with your weapon and your spells in general, and you're almost never going to use your channel energies, I would save that feat for something else. Um, Extra feats do not really apply in the grand scheme, meaning that they do help, obviously, but they're not always needed. It doesn't like other feats give you an edge, like a different ability. Extra feats give you something you already have, just a little bit more. So I think carefully when you're deciding on them, on taking them. A few things my new players have trouble with when determining feats is that once we start playing, they see a feat that they really like, but their feat branch is going off a different direction. Meaning, one of my players liked whirlwind attack, and we were playing 3.5 at the time. And if you look at whirlwind for 3.5, there are a lot of prerequisites. So, another advice to new players: when you're choosing feats, look at all the feats and decide where you want to go. If you really like this feat, but it's going to take you a few other feats to get there, plan ahead of time. So every time you have access to a new feat, you choose one that's along your way. In addition to looking at the prerequisites, I would suggest looking at the description of the feat, not just the summary next in the chart. The description always holds a little bit extra that is very helpful. One feat that comes to mind is two-weapon fighting. It's really important. The description in the book is really more important than what the summary gives you, because the summary allows you to take less penalties in dual wielding, but the description actually tells you the penalties you would get less of. Um, so for all you new players, when you decide to take feats, be careful. Think about do I have this feat? Do I have these abilities already in term of extra? Do I have the capabilities of using these feats due to prerequisites or for meta magic, the spell slots required? And if I really like this feat, what do I need to do to be able to get it and make it effective? I hope this has been helpful. I'll talk to you in the next episode.